I'm Simmo, Simmo Metal, and this is Brother Kyle, and we are the Heavy Energy Podcast. You were on Heavy Energy with Simmo and Kyle.
I love it, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, good.
Awesome. Cheers heaps for joining us today, Dez.
No worries, man. I'm on a 8-hour block, so it's good to be doing press, and it's good to be getting this record out there. I mean, it sat around for a minute before we put it out, and you never know what people are going to think until you start doing, 100 interviews. So thank you.
Yeah, well, I've already had a good listen, man, and I was blown away. Absolutely already picked my favorites. Songs like In the Moonlight and Headed for the Fall.
That's coming up a lot, man. Those tracks are coming up a lot. In the Moonlight's that odd track that actually makes more sense on the record than you would think, and it's one of my favorite tracks. So I'm glad. The first round of interviews that I was doing, people didn't hear the record; they just heard the songs that we had out. So it's good to be talking to people that have heard the whole record.
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, cheers. No, our PR guys definitely hit us up with that, and I was like, wow, all right, I'm going to guard that with my life. But yeah, feel so privileged to be able to check some of those tracks out early, and like I said, absolutely blown away by In the Moonlight, Headed for the Fall, not to mention a lot of the other tracks too, but they were just standout tracks to me.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's crazy. You start talking to people and everyone's like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. One guy's like 15 out of 10, and I'm like, dude, thank you. Like, I'm humbled at this point. I've had a 30-year career. I'm blessed, man. I'm grateful every day, and I'm very appreciative of the people that follow me in either one of my bands, and I think surrounding yourself with good people and good players, that's what made this record. When we first started to get into writing, because we have a new member, Gabe, and then my original bass player, Jon, is back in the fold. It was like, well, what direction are we going? And I'm like, don't point yourself to the early records. Don't point yourself to the later ones. Do me a favor, you guys, everybody on your computer, because we were talking on the phone, pull up the logo, pull up the DevilDriver logo. And they went, yeah. And I went, can you see the logo? Yeah. Right for the logo. So, in the past, man, I've had some players great players and great people, but they tend to write like something they want to bring into DevilDriver or something they've always wanted to do. And you really can't do that. You've got to get down to what the logo is. And we're a groove metal band. I'm a guy who really doesn't have any heavy metal influences. I've got a lot of punk and goth and psychobilly influences. Yeah. So you're going to get a crazy mix of, what DevilDriver is. I mean, the good thing about DevilDriver is we've never fit in. We don't fit in. We're the square peg in a round hole. I like that.
And that's the thing. You guys are one of those bands. I love that. And it's hard to peg you guys onto any one genre, subgenre within metal. That's exactly right. So that would actually lead into my first question, Des, which is you guys have got a massive, big Australian co-headline tour with Cradle of Filth coming up. And yeah. I'm sure you guys have already done that overseas with Cradle of Filth, but what can Australia expect from that package coming down under?
I think that Danny Filth said it best, that it's a co-headline run. We're going to have them close. And he said, look, DevilDriver's the meat and potatoes and we're the dessert.
Hell yeah.
And I said, it's so proper, right? Like when we took it to the United States, almost all the shows sold out. And you would think that our fan base is very different, but it's not. DevilDriver has a lot of women that come to the shows, and so does Cradle of Filth, obviously. Yep. And I think us doing what we do and them doing what they do, it just really fits together. I think Australia is going to get a hell of a show.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I'll hand this one over to Brother Kyle now, Des.
All right.
How are you, Des?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So this album, Strike and Kill, just feels like a major statement for DevilDriver. The title alone feels like it carries a lot of sort of weight. What was the creative mindset that you got into for this record?
Well, we've been pretty prolific, man. I mean, this is I think our 11th record. We normally release every 2 years and just stay on tour.
Yep.
But in the last 5 years, it's been difficult in my life. For those who don't know, my wife went through cancer twice, so I had to tear everything down. And God bless it, she came through that. COVID, obviously, and then COVID almost killed me. That took me another year and a half to come back from. And then when I was preparing for a tour a year or two ago, I got struck by vertigo and ended up in an ambulance in an emergency room, and it was really a difficult 5 to 6 years of my life. So we didn't release for almost 4 years, and I waited 3 years for demos. And when I finally got them from one particular writer, I was like, this is off the mark. I don't want to do this, right? So when Gabe came into the fold and Jon rejoined the band, it was apparent to me when normally let me say this, normally when I start writing, I wait for the bulk of the material. But after 3 songs by them, I was in the studio writing like a madman.
Yeah.
And I felt like, a matter of fact, writing so fast that 2, 3 songs were coming out a day. And I was making voice notes for the guys with the music behind me and said, am I just crazy, or I just wrote 3 songs today? And they're like, dude, don't change a fucking thing. So strike and kill for us, the title, actually, that's what it means. Like, it's time to go strike and kill. Go be what DevilDriver is, which is, if you want to go on after us, have fun. If you want to go on before us, have fun. Like, we're going to take it to you. And I've always had that in me. I guess that kind of comes from my punk rock background.
Yeah.
And I knew we had something really special after I started getting number 4, 5, 6. And then when I got In the Moonlight, when I got Headed for the Fall, I was like,
Yeah.
we are on to something unbelievable here. And I've had that feeling slightly over the course of time on different records, but this one felt like a powerhouse moment.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. And that'll actually lead to my next question, Des, which is about this lineup. It feels like it really does mark a whole new era with names like Jon Miller returning, Gabe Manigault also producing as well as playing in the band. So yeah, tell us about this lineup and what that means to you right now, because I can feel the power in this release.
Right. Well, you know, trying to be elegant about what I'm saying. And uh, when you lose a player that was with you for 20 years, a lot of that will really affect the band. And we lost a player after 20 years. And what I realized is, and I don't say this as any slight, great player, but it was for the better. It just, the music that's coming out of Gabe and the team, because it's a very much a team effort, uh, was just coming out at such a rapid pace that when I heard it, I knew we had something special, really.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to take, something that would be a negative, like losing a longtime member, into something that's positive. So Jon coming back into the band was a wonderful thing. When Jon was let go from the band, he needed to get his life together. It's his story to tell. I won't go any further than that. He got his life together. And when he first called me, we were on the phone like 3 hours, man. We were
Yeah.
laughing, we were crying. This guy, I
Deep and
was
meaningful. Yeah.
very good friends with him, and what he brought to the table on this record was immense. And I think the team writing this record, it just came out phenomenal. So Gabe is a wonderful producer. He knows how to work with me. I'm very ADD, very ADHD. If it's not done in the first, second, third take, I don't want it on the record. He worked very quickly with me. We didn't sit and labor 5 hours over a 3-minute song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you do that, you kind of lose your way within a
Yeah.
within a song. Song is a vehicle, and it should come out quickly,
Yeah.
really. And it did on this record. So the team around this record, Gabe producing this record, the way that the team wrote, um, the democratic, like, I didn't think they understood I was so democratic, right? So I'm like, we wrote maybe 20, 26 songs. What songs do you guys want on the record? Okay, we'll go with it. All right, what songs do you think we should record? Okay, we'll go with it. What songs, like, what's the order of the record? Okay, we'll go with it. Like, I let it all up to them. And I think that in essence built a better team as well.
Hell yeah, man. And that's the thing. You can really hear that in the music already. I'm just going to take this second here, Des, just to break up the show for a sec, just to see if we could get a shout out for the channel. Basically, all you need to say is your name, your band, and that you're watching Heavy Energy.
Hey, what's up? This is Dez from DevilDriver, and you're watching Heavy Energy. Turn it up.
Hell yeah. Cheers a million, Des. That was fire.
Gotcha, man. No worries.
Awesome. I'll hand this one over to Brother Kyle now, man. He's got another couple of questions for you.
Cool, Carl.
That was like full professional. That's like everyone's usually like,
I think 30 years in the business, mate.
oh,
yeah, smooth as hell, man. That's it. And we'll get
that-
into that 30 years in the business in a minute.
that leads on to my question for you. Like you've said, like you've had 3 decades in this, like helping shape heavy music with like DevilDriver, Coal Chamber. Looking back on that journey, what's been the biggest lesson that you've learned about the longevity in metal?
Always listen to yourself and don't listen to anybody else unless they're in your band.
Love it.
I tend to, well, we need a radio single. No, fuck that. Well, we need to do this or that. No, fuck that. Like I tend to take a right when others take a left, and I think that's served me very well. Again, I'll reiterate, like I'm probably the only metal vocalist that you'll speak to that says I really have no heavy metal influences. It all comes from punk rock and goth and psychobilly and shit like that. Don't get me wrong, I listen to a shitload of metal. I mean, I woke up this morning listening to Motorhead and Black Sabbath on vinyl and Black Flag on vinyl. I love violent music, really. It's kind of something that's in my nature, but I tend to take a lot of right turns where people wouldn't, and I think that has served me well. I listen to my gut. I'm a recluse. I'm probably one of the most private people you'll ever speak to. To give you an example, when we got the record, we re-signed with Napalm because we were a free agent at the time, and my question was like, do I have to do press? so that, and they're like, yes, Mr. Private Guy, you got to do press. And I'm like, okay, great, I'll do it. But when you lead with your gut, when you lead with your heart, when you trust the people around you, you're good to go. But you should always listen to yourself first.
Yeah, man. I feel ya. I even do that musically a lot. Me and Kyle have got a band. We're musicians, and we sort of like go with our gut when it comes to our musical decisions with our band as well. So I feel that. And that actually leads into my next question, Des, which is basically about the fact that juggling 2 bands for the fact that although you've got DevilDriver, you've also got Coal Chamber, and what has that been like over the years, juggling those 2 projects?
Well, I mean, Coal Chamber went away for a long time. We came back for 1 record, Rivals, and then went back away for about 12 years. So the juggle is really not there. That's my love. That's what made me who I am. Is coming out of Los Angeles with Coal Chamber. I very much love her. She's my first love, and I could see her in curlers and shitty clothes and be like, "You look beautiful," So for me, I tend to overwork. I tend to take on more than I can. I mean, to give you an example, I just got back from 2 weekends of festivals, fly-in shows, where one day I did Coal Chamber, the next day I did DevilDriver at these huge festivals. And not a lot of people have done that in the industry. I could take a handful, maybe not even a handful. And I found that to be really rewarding. And they're different camps, they're different mindsets, completely
different vibes.
Completely different vibes, and I love it. I could throw myself into either one. It's kind of like being in the room and jumping into bed with her and jumping into bed with her. It all works out, And so, yeah, I tend to take on the workload, and I don't really want to waste a day. I don't know when is my last day on Earth, right? And so I tend to take on the work and take on whatever comes up, because what else am I going to do? I love music and I love what I do. Yeah.
Hell yeah, Des. Cheers. That was
Oh,
more of the question than I even expected. So thank you so much for answering
All
that one.
good, bro.
Because
All
I'm
good, bro.
also a Coal Chamber fan as well. So
Very cool. Very cool. I mean, look, you guys are in a band, so just my recommendation to do is don't sound like anybody. You know,
yeah,
if you've got your friends in your rehearsal room and they're like, that sounds like this band, that's awesome. Ditch that song immediately. I mean, right now I'm surrounded by a lot of bands that give you heavy, heavy verses and then this big clean chorus for melodies to make it to the radio, and I just turn it off. I can't hear it, you know? So try to sound different, try to use influences that may not be metal or may not be metal influences, and try to make something that sounds different. You know, the bands that I love and listen to all are very different sounding. You know, I mean, even Black Sabbath, like you, there
yeah,
was nobody that sounded like that when they came out. You know,
exactly. Yeah,
fucking frightening. You know, and
yeah,
you put that shit on in vinyl in my house, turn down the lights, and you still fucking get scared. You know what I mean?
yeah. You can still feel that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hell yeah. I'll hand this last question over to brother Kyle. We won't take too much of your time today, Des, and I'll also quickly just plug that tour and that new album for you before we go.
No worries.
So it feels like a whole generation of younger musicians just grew up listening to DevilDriver and Coal Chamber. I
Yeah.
know Elf and Simmo did.
Yeah.
We loved it. It was just,
We were those kids who bought those
yeah.
CDs. Yeah.
So,
You're the reason I'm here, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
so when you hear newer bands citing your work as influence, what does that mean to you?
That means the world to me, you know. There's a couple things in this industry, right? When somebody comes up to me and says, you know, your lyrics got me through the worst time of my life,
Definitely.
I did my job. Hey, you influenced my music, you influenced my writing style. I've done my job. Uh, you guys sound so much different than all the other bands that are going on within the genre. I've done my job. So yeah, take that to the bank, you know.
Love that.
Yeah.
I completely love that. That's
Yeah.
just, I was hoping you were going to say something like that because that's awesome.
Yeah, and
Hell
that
yeah.
too like resonates with me to like say something further, which is like, you know, I mean, you guys have a band, so I mean, you might be the biggest thing on the planet in the next 2 years. You don't know that, right? Just keep your head together and you know, always be appreciative and humble and have gratitude in your heart, and never let ego get to you. It's the one thing in this business I don't put up with backstage or with bands I tour with or bands that I've managed in the past. Like, I don't put up with ego. Like, I just fucking don't do it. I come from
Yep.
nothing, blue
Yep.
collar working class background, left home at an early age. You know, had my time homeless, sleeping under bridges, stealing food from 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? And I will never let ego get to my fucking head, you know. And I think you guys, like, whenever you're doing interviews or whatever you do in your band, like, just make sure you always have a humble, grateful attitude about it, you know. It'll show through, man, and people in response will back you, you know, whether it's in music or your family members or your friends. When you come with a humble, appreciative attitude, you get backed more by everyone around you, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hell yeah, cheers, Des. Because that's what I also do find in the metal community. Since me and Kyle have been doing this, we've talked to some other guys like CJ Pierce from Drowning Pool and Matt from Exhumed, and we've just found all of you guys so humble, and that's what I love about the metal community. So I totally
Oh, I'll
feel you.
agree with you. I'll agree with you there. Like, I really don't run into it a tremendous amount, you know, the big head ego thing, you know.
Yeah.
And which is good, man. I mean, I don't fucking put up with it really, you know. So
Hell yeah, man. No, I feel you. Well, I'm going to not take up too much more of your time, Des. I just quickly want to plug this tour for you. So, Cradle of Filth and DevilDriver touring Australia from Thursday, 9th of July through to the 16th of July. What I'll do is I'll put all of the locations and the dates down in the description, but they're going to everywhere from Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide through to Perth. So
Yeah.
that's the whole leg, man.
Yeah.
So I love that. And everyone in Australia can get ready for this amazing tour, and they can get their hands on tickets through thephoenix.com or metropolistouring.com. And also, we've got Strike and Kill releasing on July 10th. Me and Kyle were privileged enough to get to hear Dez and DevilDriver's work beforehand, and all we can say to you guys is get ready for one of the most intense DevilDriver albums I've ever heard.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. You know, you put out a record and you wait for the response, and it's been crazy. I mean, it's 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Some guy asked me the other day if he can give it a 15 out of 10. And I said, you need to talk to your editor about that. But like I said, this record sat around for about a year before we decided to find partners and put it out. There was numerous reasons for that, to be honest with you. And I am fortunate in the fact that right now I think I'm at the top of my game, and the players around me are at the top of their game. So you guys are going to get badass shows. I mean, we're going to come out 110%. We're going to kick ass until the very end. I'm going to leave it all out on the fucking stage, and then I'm going to get back to the hotel, grab a surfboard, and try to get out in the water the next morning if I can.
Nice.
Yeah, man. And can I just quickly say, that album really did have my jaw on the floor. Like, there's a lot of these newer bands coming about, and there's a lot of this really radio-friendly metal and stuff like that, but this one just had my jaw on the floor. I was just like, yeah, they're not fucking around this time.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Look, I back all the records that we've done, but I think this thing is a move forward. And I think that's what was needed at this point right now is like, let's not go back to start. Let's not go too far in the future. Let's look at the logo. What does it fucking need? We're a groove metal band. Go give people the groove. Make them want to bop their head and make them want to get in the pit and circle pit, you know, because we're not really a, what do you call it? A wall of death kind of band, right? So I want you to get in, get out there and get dancing when we play. So we're looking forward to coming down under, and you guys are going to love Cradle of Filth. If you've never seen them live, fucking incredible band.
Yes.
And I think it's a great lineup. When we took this thing to the States, man, people loved it. So I'm really looking forward to coming down under.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks so much, Dez. We really appreciate all your time today. And like I said, Strike and Kill, July 10th. Everybody, get ready for the Australian tour, kicking off the 9th of July. And thanks so much for your time, Dez. You've been awesome, and like you just said, humble in metal, and you have been a humble guest. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you guys for the support. We'll see you soon. We'll see everybody out at the shows. Let's fucking get it.
Hell yeah, Dez. Awesome. All right, stay metal, and as me and Kyle always say as we sign off, stay metal, metalheads, and Kyle,
rock on.
Hell yeah. Cheers, heaps, Dez. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Dez Fafara of DevilDriver and Coal Chamber. Thank you very much for your time, Dez.
Take care, brothers. We'll see you soon.
Stay metal, man.